And hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to the meeting of online presenters, a virtual Toastmasters club. I'm Sergeant at Arms Sunny Fridge, aka Dr. Sunny. Guests, please note, we'd love to have you as members, and to be a member of our club, you must be a current or former active member of Toastmasters International and have completed at least 6 Toastmasters official speeches. However, if you have substantial relevant presentation experience, we welcome you to apply for membership after demonstrating your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech delivered during one of our club meetings. All requests for membership are subject to approval by our club members. If you have not already done so, please change your panel to ensure it displays your name and role. Hover over your video, right-click, and select Rename. Remember, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. We have members and guests from many countries throughout the world. As a professional organization, we ask that you please be aware of language or word usage that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note that we are recording this meeting. Your video and audio contribution may be used for our club marketing purposes. And now, please help me welcome our Vice President of Education to the virtual stage, Joni Laidlaw. Welcome, Joni.
Thank you, Madam Sergeant at Arms, for that welcome. Now, don't worry, I'm just temporarily filling in for our president as she's here. But we have a phrase in Jamaica that says, encouragement, sweeten labor. So today, that is exactly what I'm going to do. As we are about to embrace the vernal environment that we have now, it's always important to remember those who are toiling during the colder months to make sure that our spring sprang effectively. Please, online presenters, help me to congratulate Carrie Kong in completing her level 2 in dynamic leadership. Great job. And also, we have another one. Help me to welcome and say thank you to Kirthikka for completing her level 2. And she's not just finished there. She's going to actually be moving on because she is still speaking. Now, everyone, we still have time to make sure that we get our speeches in. And let me know, because I will be very happy as soon as possible to have a speech-a-thon with all of us. Great going, everyone. So far, we are 1 point away from doing all of the educational point 1 level 2. And I use that as a segue because the lady who has promised to take us to the goal line is our president, Marianne Grady. Over to you.
Well, thank you, Joni, but I do have to tell you that I was looking online and we canceled the meeting when my speech was scheduled, so I am going to need you to fit me in somewhere. But good evening, everyone. I am so happy to see everyone tonight. It looks like we have a full house. I am a little jet lagged. I just got in a little while ago. I was enjoying the vernal weather in New Jersey, and I am back to Florida where it is 97 degrees, so it's pretty hot stuff down here. But I am wanting to let all of you know what our club mission is. The Online Presenters Toastmaster Club serves those who give online presentations professionally or aspire to do so. So whether that means public webcasts, live videos, internal company video conferences, and screen sharing sessions. If you do those things, this is the place you want to be so that you get better. So I hope that all of you will consider joining us. I see a few guests here. And tonight, our Toastmaster of the day is somebody I haven't seen as Toastmaster for a little bit, and that would be our own Sherry Blake. So please, please welcome Sherry to the virtual lectern. Sherry is our Toastmaster of the day. Here you go.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Before I get started, if Christine, I sent you a message in the chat. If you can respond to that, that would be greatly appreciated. I did not see any of your speech details, whatever you would like me to use to introduce you during that time. So thank you so much. If you can, like I said, respond to that, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, well, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm happy to have you here. Today's theme is called May Ray Day. May Ray Day is an unofficial holiday celebrated May 19th each year. Its origins are a bit obscure and not tied to a specific historical event or cultural tradition. The day appears to have been created simply as a fun reminder to enjoy the sunshine and spend time outdoors, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, where May often marks the turning point into warmer, sunnier weather. It's thought to be a lighthearted, sun-appreciated day, possibly coined by greeting card companies or calendar publishers to fill in an unconventional holiday. Some sources suggest it was intended to encourage people to get out in sun's rays, hence May Ray. There's no official founder, but it's gained popularity among those who enjoy celebrating offbeat or novelty holidays. It fits well with themes of self-care, enjoying nature, and brightening your outlook. Perfect for a Toastmasters theme, right? So let's kick off our meeting by recognizing the team that helps everything run smoothly. Each of them play a key role in making tonight a success. Please welcome each role player as they introduce their responsibilities for tonight. I'm going to start off with our timer, Asil. Asil, can you please tell us what your role is?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. Today, I'm your timer, and I'll be timing 3 sessions: prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluation session. I have 3 colors. For example, prepared speeches tonight are from 5 to 7 minutes, so I'll be showing green color at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes, and you have a 30 seconds of grace to finish your speech. Table topics runs from 1 to 2 minutes. So green will be shown at 1 minute, yellow at 1 and 30 seconds, and red will be shown at 2 minutes. So you also have 30 seconds to finish your speech. And evaluations session, green will be shown at 2 minutes, yellow will be shown at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. You also have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. And I'll be posting your time in the chat during the meeting. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that, for your description of what you're doing. Next, our odd counter is Graham. Graham, can you please share with us what you'll be doing this evening?
With delight, Madam Toastmaster. Have you ever been in a Toastmasters club where the R counter at least has got a little bell, and every time you go or they ding the bell? It is horrendously disruptive, but I will also tell you that it is effective in giving you feedback. Well, I'm not going to do that because it doesn't work in an online environment. The ding would be well after you finished, and it sucks. But what I will be doing is writing down every time you do an or an or an extended pause or a repetition of words, because it's useful feedback for all of us to learn how often we are making these minor little fillers and grunts and groans and things like that. So that's what I'll be watching for. I'll give a report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you so much. Next is our grammarian, Andrew Byrne. Andrew, please tell us what you'll be doing this evening.
With pleasure. I will be your grammarian. What does that mean? It means I'm going to be an active listener. We have a word of the day, an adjective, vernal, that's used in the way that you see it on the screen. Vernal is an adjective, so you would use it together with the noun in describing something as appropriate for spring or May. I also listen to correct sentence structure, tense characterization, and other things that is the purview of the grammarian. I'll be called upon later on in the meeting and will share with you my report.
Thank you so much for that. I have quickly looked at I'm trying to find our watcher. Do we have one? I don't see anyone else who picked up that role. Am I correct? We do not have a watcher for this evening?
Marianne said she'll do it.
Okay, so Marianne will be our watcher for this evening. Marianne, please describe your role.
Good evening, everyone. I'm back. I will be keeping my eyes on you. And the reason we have a watcher in this virtual environment is so that we make ourselves aware of the things that we do that could be distracting to other people. So we want to make sure that your background is right, that you're centered in your little square, and that you are not doing things that are distracting, like eating or chewing, things like that. So we pay attention. And remember, we always want a pleasant expression on our face, because sometimes when we're watching, we just go, And it doesn't mean anything bad, but it's just not pleasant. So please be aware, because I'm watching you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Next, our chat monitor is Allison. Allison, please share with us what you'll be doing this evening.
Good evening, Toastmasters, and thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I have the honor this evening of being the chat monitor. Just like the vernal season brings a sense of renewal and fresh beginnings, I'm here to keep our virtual space blooming with positivity and engagement in the chat. Our chats are kind of exclusive to online presenters, but it is also an integral part of communication with each other, especially in the online and virtual world. So I will be monitoring the chat and also engaging in conversation during today's meeting, and looking forward to those amazing chats. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Allison. Next, our vote counter will be David Carr. David?
Yes, I will be dropping a link in the chat when we have occasion to vote on best speaker, best table topics speaker, and best evaluator. Or if you have the mobile app, the Toastmasters mobile app, you can vote that way. So either the web link or the app. And I actually signed up for tip of the day. I was going to show a little bit of the behind the scenes of how you work with that as vote counter, if we have time for that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Next is our table topics master. Andre, please explain your role.
Well, as a table topics master, I will be leading the section for table topics, impromptu speaking, 1 to 2 minutes. And I bet you look forward to it. I've prepared some interesting questions for you. Anyone can be asked to do it. So please get ready. Back to you, Sherry.
Thank you for that. And our general evaluator is Carrie Kong, and she will lead the evaluation segment later. Next, we have the tip of the day, and it more or less, it speaks for itself. It's the tip. So we're going to hear from David Carr, who will provide that tip for us. David?
All right. I have been looking for every chance to tell you that you ought to get your hands on the Toastmasters mobile app. And one of the things you can do with the Toastmasters mobile app is vote or set up votes as the vote counter. So in this scenario, I am signed in as the vote counter. I'm not on online presenters. I'm on the Demo Club website, and the app is also synced with the Demo Club website. And on this agenda, we have 3 speakers signed up, so they're automatically populated on the ballot. But maybe George couldn't make it. George isn't able to speak tonight. I can pick another member from the list and put that person on. And as soon as I publish this, then members can come in and this is what they will see. Oh, let's see, I'm already shown as having already voted here. But members will be able to come in and they will see the options to vote for based on the ballot that I have set up. Also for table topics, it works a little bit differently. And I'm showing you, we have versions of this on both the website and the app. I'm messing with the app version, but also on the website, if you go over to a tab that says voting, we have the same thing. The members can vote and the vote counter can set up the ballots. So for table topics, what do? We pay attention as people are announced as speakers. We can pick from our member list and plug those people in. If we have a guest who we want to put on the list, so we can have Mr. Fabulous also signed up and did a table topics, or was picked on to do a table topic, we'll publish that and that will become available. So it's as easy as that. And then when the voting is over, there is a vote counting screen where you can see who voted for what. And again, I've used this for testing a few times. So a bunch of different options are showing up here. There is also this copy voting link, which is what I can do to paste that in the chat. And you can, if you haven't done this before, you can test it on the demo site. You can vote whether one of those fictitious people should be the best table topic of the day. And we'll do it live a little bit later in this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that tip of the day. And I did see your email and downloaded the app. So I look forward to using it and to also maybe one day being the vote counter. Okay, so we will now move into the prepared speeches portion of our meeting, where we hear from members working on Pathways projects. Let's give our full support and encouragement to speaker number 1, Kirthikka. She is doing Strategic Relationship Level 2 project, Understanding Your Leadership Style. Her speech topic is, I Thought I Was Wrong. Kirthikka, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sher. Leadership is no longer defined as having the right answer, but the ability to make others find the best solution. I wasn't an effective communicator in my childhood. The creepy, crappy things that filled my room is all of lot of books, lot of creative materials, and lot of electronics. What I all had was different sorts of genres of book. They all ranged from technology, psychology, and even astrology. It doesn't mean I am a master of all these subjects. Rather, I had a breadth of knowledge in lot many topics. This gave me a slight push to come out of my comfort zone and engage confidently with different levels of people. Confront questions, ask for their opinions, invite for a talk, and register your insights. It also helped me to stay grounded and show your integrity. I thought I was wrong. Showing integrity without an effective communication purpose or mechanism was wrong. It is equivalent to having a beautiful doodle drawn near a garbage. Certainly not. Communication is all about having a structured way of delivering your thought process, formulating it into a mechanism that engages audience fruitfully. Over back some years ago, I was entering near to my junior college. It was a year before that. I was a class representative in a newly joined school. It was a quite new environment. There wasn't much of people that I know there. The only way that I was able to influence others was to make things right at the first time. It was just the instance, the shot that I gave, the first victory for anything, gathered a lot of people around. It pondered with a lot of love and affection. It also gave me an opportunity to assist them, to help them out. What I thought was, it was not happening just like that. It's just the opportunity that gave me to ponder all these things. But how did this all happen? It's just a casual participation in any of your opportunity that rendered me to anticipate the good and right from the childhood. All I had was an optimism towards the world, a way to approach people at the right time, the courage to lead with example, and also the open-mindedness that I had. All I had was just this. I thought I was wrong. Definitely not. There is a popular saying from a German philosopher. He says, all truly wise thoughts have been thought already thousands of times. But to make them truly ours, we just have to think them over again, honestly, till they get deeply rooted into your personal experience. What it all means is through the thought that gives way to something called thought experiment. Thought experiment is not a small thing. It's a tool that is used by great thinkers to derive a common ground of solution and to anticipate in a chaotic situation. I thought I was wrong here. No, I wasn't, definitely. Zeno's dichotomy paradox, popularly known as Achilles paradox, explains this. Achilles gave 100 meters of head start when he competed with the tortoise, thinking that he will be able to overtake it, but it did not happen at all. What happened was Achilles wasn't able to reach the destination at any point in time in his race, because all it needed was any object that moves halfway through before it reaches the destination. It should have crossed the halfway point, because there are a lot of infinite halfway point in between the path that it makes it not to be reachable in a finite point in time. So what here is taken as a lesson to a leader is ignore your ignorance. Just find a lot of data that you can validate the chaotic situation and get into a common ground of solution. It obviously speaks well when the same situation is narrated with a popular communication expert who says a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way and shows the way. What if by thought experiment, you don't know the way, but you know the way, but you cannot show the way or go the way? It exactly happened in Mahabharata, the greatest epic of India, where the war between the Pandavas and Kauravas happened, and the archer's son, the great archer's Arjuna's son, was hit badly, letting him to enter into the Chakravyuha, but he wasn't able to get back out of the Chakravyuha. I thought I was wrong, but I wasn't. An effective communication itself doesn't make you to lead the situation. An opportunity, learn from your mistakes, and being optimistic towards the opportunity gives you the way to lead. Yes, I was right. Over to you, Sherry.
Thank you so much for that speech. The one thing that we can always gain from someone's speech is that we learn something new and just new insights and even more about the person. So thank you so much, Kirthikka. Speaker number 2 is Christine Staples Ebanks. Our next speaker knows what it means to turn a major life disruptor into purposeful impact. What began as a medical crisis with her newborn son sparked a mission of parent education, empowerment, and support, one that grew into a national, regional, and now global movement. Her story is one of love, faith, family, resilience, and transformation. A powerful illustration of how our deepest struggles can become our greatest gift to the world. This speech is part of her evaluation and feedback project in the Presentation Mastery Path. Today's speech is the first in a 2-part series focused on developing and refining presentation skills through real-time feedback. Please welcome to the stage with her speech entitled The Making of a Special Needs Mama Bear, From Pain to Purposeful Impact. Christine, the floor is all yours.
Can you unmute yourself?
There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, everyone. Have you ever had a moment where your life was completely turned around? I did. It was 2004. I had just given birth to my 4th child. But instead of joyful celebration, I found myself in the NIC unit watching him fight for his life. 4 months earlier, I had a routine ultrasound that had revealed a rare life-threatening condition, congenital diaphragmatic hernia, a hole in his diaphragm that pushed his organ up into his chest, crushing his left lungs and shifting his heart over to the right. We were lucky it was found out. In utero, we named him Nathan, God's gift, because his life felt like a miracle. Our little miracle underwent major corrective surgery 3 days after birth. He survived. He developed severe jaundice 10 days after birth. He survived. He spent 24 days on assisted breathing and 28 days in hospital. He survived. Upon his discharge, the surgeon warned, inducing the spirit of fear in me, don't celebrate this child. He's still very sick. He may not survive infancy. He may not even survive childhood. That fear, it lived with me for years, triggering every cold, every fever, every cough into a fear that he would not survive. But it made me watchful. So I was the first to notice that he wasn't developing typically like his siblings. While I know that children develop at their own pace, there was just something about him. At 3 months, he was still like a newborn baby. He slept all day, didn't respond to voices, and didn't even seem to be aware of the world around him. I kept raising this concern at every post-surgery clinic, but was told, give it time, Mom. He will grow out of it, Mom. But he never did. My gut said something was wrong. So I got a second opinion. After a series of testing, he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at 9 months old. Now, here's the thing. The diagnosis was all we got, with a crushing list of what he would never, ever do. He would never walk, never talk, never learn, never live independently. And in Jamaica, where we lived, there were no disability laws, very limited services. There were no safety net or support for my child, children like him, and families to learn how to thrive with a diagnosis. So I grieved. I was afraid. I was frustrated, and I was alone. Even with a loving, supportive family right there beside me, I was very much alone. I leaned into my faith and my family, knowing that God made no mistakes and that this child was here for purpose. And that was when I began to step into the role of the special needs mama bear. I rolled up my sleeves, and every opportunity I got, I was out there talking about what's missing: inaccessible sidewalk, schools that didn't know how to teach children like my son. I began to lobby every chance I got. Then a school said to me, "Oh, we will take your son in, but you have to find someone and train them to come to school with him. You have to find a teacher and train them to come to school with him, or he cannot stay." So how did I respond? I went searching until I found people elsewhere who understood how to teach children like my son. I got my capacity built, and then together we began to develop workshops for teachers and policymakers and different people across Jamaica. And we began the Special Needs Mama Bear movement. Over the period of 10 years, I have worked with over 2,000 volunteers from across the world, because I was running an organization with no budget, no staff, not seen with any kind of importance within my country. But I was on a mission to help others to begin to see that children with disabilities had a right and that children with disabilities deserved to be supported. Since then, I've written 8 books, one of which has won an International Impact Best Book Award, for bringing the conversation of disability into the mainstream conversation. Now, this was not the path that we chose. It certainly was not the path my son chose. But I had a defining moment when I had to decide, what was I going to do with this gift? Yes, it was a gift. Because what once felt like an ending became a vernal beginning, a fresh start rooted in purpose, in faith, and in impact. Your story may be different. Maybe your moment is not like that. But in an instant, what comes to you as a tragedy or a disappointment or a setback might just be setting you up for healing, for growth, for purpose. If only you choose to look at your situation through the lens of possibility. There is a saying that I heard recently from Kerry Washington, and it really stuck with me. She says, sometimes the thing we think will destroy us could actually be our greatest gift. And I couldn't agree more. My son celebrated his 21st birthday on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. My husband insists that I say that. And every day that I look at him, I see a miracle, I see joy, I see purpose, and I see someone who has taught me that no matter what life throws your way, that you have a chance to rise from it and to make an impact. So my question to you today is, what is the story in your life, and what impact might that have in the lives of others? Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much for that speech. And once again, I will say one thing gained from a speech is that we learn something new about a topic and about a person. So thank you so much for sharing that. Moving along, we are going to move to speaker number 3, Joseph Yang. Joseph's speech title is The Essence of Fishing. Stressed out from work? Bored of the routine day-to-day? Want to have more than just a relaxing weekend? Why not give one of America's oldest and favorite pastimes a try? I would like to present to you Joseph Yang. Joseph, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My fellow Toastmasters, by a show of hands, just out of curiosity, how many people here have fished before? Great, I see we have quite a few anglers. Well, for those that are new to fishing or haven't fished before, let me try to paint a picture of what fishing to me is like. Imagine yourself at a local pond. The weather is okay, it's not too hot, it's not too cold. The sky is not too sunny, not too cloudy, gently overcast. And there's just enough of a light breeze kind of brushing against your face to make it comfortable. And nature is really all around you. There's birds of various different species, there's insects buzzing, and there's shrubs and plants of all variety. And you have in your hand a fishing rod, and you make a cast, and it is a perfect cast. The bobber hits the water at a good distance with a soft splash. And you sit back and you relax, and you grab ice cold beer from the cooler, you take a sip, and you try to relax, and you take it all in. You know, the nature all around you, the subtle ripples of the water, and just the general hum of nature itself. All of a sudden, the bobber disappears, and you feel that there's a tug on the line, and you spring to your feet because you know there's something on the other side of that line, and your heart is racing, and you just start reeling furiously, and you feel something pulling against that line and fighting back, and it's fighting back pretty hard, but you keep steady, and you just keep on reeling it in, and you keep reeling it in, and finally, that fish, which a while ago seems like a really small object far away, just gets closer and closer. And finally, you land that big fish, and it's a very beautiful fish. You unhook it slowly, take a quick picture, and you let it back in the water. You rebait, you cast out, you do a recast, and you lay back on your chair again, and you think about what a big catch you have just landed. And life feels pretty good. And that to me is really fishing at its peak. But fishing for me it's more than just landing the next big catch, I think. It's about several other things that I think is also relevant to life. It's about being curious and reconnecting with nature. It's about being patient and learning how to adapt to various different situations. It's about developing shared memories with friends and family. And I think last but not least, it's also about clearing the mind and learning to be with oneself. First, it's about exploration and rediscovering our connection to nature. As kids, we are naturally adventurous. A trail in the woods, a stream behind the house, everything was really a mystery. And I think as adults, we lose some of that wonder. But fishing kind of brings it back. A new lake or hidden pond or unfamiliar species. It all helps to rekindle that spirit of curiosity. Fishing is also about patience and learning how to adapt. Maybe sometimes the fish doesn't bite. Maybe the mosquitoes and the insects, they bite like crazy. Sometimes your line snags and you can't pull it out. And sometimes the weather just turns bad. But sometimes that's life. And fishing, at least for me, teaches me to take a deep breath and try to adjust and adapt. When the fish doesn't bite, change the bait, move to a different spot. When it rains or when it gets really cold, put on a life jacket. When mosquitoes bite like crazy, apply insect repellents. And when the line tangles, you try to untangle it. And if you can't untangle the line, you just have to cut it and retie it. Because oftentimes, even the shortest fishing trips teaches me the quiet lesson of how to adapt and readjust when life throws us lemons. Third, fishing is about shared memories. Some of my favorite memories fishing weren't even about the fish, but about the company, about sitting by the riverbank with friends and family, joking, talking, of course, helping kids with fishing lines, and just being there with family, with friends, with people that matter. It's not just about fishing by ourselves. Fishing can be wonderfully social, not just in the noisy, fast-paced way that we're used to. And finally, fishing is about clearing the mind. My fellow Toastmasters, let me ask you a question. In the past week or so, by a show of hands, how many people actually got time alone to themselves and just be still? No phones, no screens, no noise. See, fishing gives me that rare chance to just reflect on health, on family, on what really matters with myself, without all the distractions in our hyper-connected world. Because in that moment, I'm no longer just another cog in the huge corporate machine trying to make it in the rat race. I'm just a fisherman, standing still, waiting for a bite from any fish that wants to play. So while some may see fishing as a slow hobby, a boring hobby, for me, it's a way to reconnect with nature, with others, and most importantly, with myself. And my fellow Toastmasters, you don't have to fish to find that peace. You just need to find your metaphorical pond, your quiet place, and make your metaphorical cast there. Because in a world that moves too fast, fishing can remind all of us to just slow down and reflect on what truly matters. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. Sherry, I think you're on mute.
Thank you. I was talking. Well, thank you so much for that. Like I said, I just like learning new things, new topics, and new things about our fellow Toastmasters. Okay, so now it's time for table topics. This is an opportunity to practice thinking on our feet. So let's welcome Andriy Smolenko, who will lead us through tonight's impromptu speaking session. Andriy, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Sherry, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, guests, my job is simple. As I announced before, I will be leading this section of online presenters meeting, table topics, speaking off the cuff, or impromptu speaking. Is my favorite part of the evening, not because I'm leading it, but because I'm going to pick on some people. I can see all your faces on the screen. I will ask you a question, hopefully in line with the theme of the meeting. It's May Ray Day. And you would need to come up with a very quick story, lasting between 1 to 2 minutes. And our Madam Timer, Asil, will be timing you. And at the end of it, you will be voted. And who knows, you may win something really important. So let's get on with it. I have prepared a first question. Right, here we go. Let's have a look at this picture. And the question is, what would you add to this picture to make it perfect? What would you add to this picture to make it perfect? And this goes to David Carr.
Mr. Topics Master, what would I add to that picture to make it perfect? The question itself implies that it has not achieved perfection, but it says right there that it's perfect. It's the perfect day. And so what would make the perfect day? How do you improve on perfection? It's like when you say that something is the ultimate. Well, how can you go beyond the ultimate? Because the ultimate is the extreme. The ultimate is the very best. Well, this is perfect. It's the perfect day. And isn't it the perfect image of the perfect day? I mean, it says right there, I believe the Brits say it says it right on the tin. And so it says it's perfect. I have no particular reason to disbelieve its perfection. And so I say it's perfect just the way it is, just like you are, Andre, Mr. Topics Master.
Oh, Mr. David Carr, you just pulled it. You said the most valuable phrase in the world. You're perfect as the way you are, Andre. Oh, you are my winner for today. I would personally vote for you as the best table topics speaker. Absolutely. You have my vote. And we moving on to the next question. Please have a look at this picture. And your job is to spoil these perfect holidays. How would you do it? Your job is to spoil these perfect holidays. How would you do it? And this question goes to our guest, Dr. Ann Tamisa. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly.
That's fine. I'm always being picked on whenever I'm a guest for table topics. Table topics fascinates me. I don't like spoiling stuff. You're asking me how will I mess that up. I wish you had asked me the first question. I was just thinking about what to do, but since I have to be creative, what will I do to mess up this beautiful picture? Oh my goodness. All righty. I believe to mess up this beautiful picture, the first thing I'll do is to jump into the sea. I can't swim, but maybe I'll jump into I'll jump into the sea, make a splash. This couple, I believe this is a couple, this couple who are obviously relaxing would have to jump up to save me. I believe they're resting, maybe even sleeping, just trying to enjoy the atmosphere. So to confuse things, to mess it all up, I'll jump in, have them try to save me, and I'm all over the place. Maybe other people will join, they will drag me out of the water, try to revive me. Maybe I'm dying already. And I believe that will mess up the picture badly because that's a beautiful picture right there. You've never seen a picture where somebody is being dragged out and they put it on the internet as a poster or anything. So I believe nobody wants to see a picture of that, somebody going crazy, trying to die or something. I believe that's the best way I'll mess up the picture. Just mess up their day, mess up the picture. Back to you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Oh, thank you very much, Anne, for that. Actually, I would like to see all those things happen because they don't happen very often, but I think I would become a big fan of you. Thank you for your answer, madam. And we moving on to the next question. Right, please have a look at this picture and tell me, what would you choose, the moon or the sun? The moon or the sun? And this question goes to Graham Carrot.
Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters. I believe we're all Toastmasters here, so I'm not going to say guests. You're only visitors, not guests. Every community in the world, every group has had a legend about the sun and the moon, and which is more important, which you would prefer. Here in Australia, Indigenous people have a dreaming story where the sun and the moon were, of course, lovers and would chase each other across the sky. But once a month, the moon would disappear And then she would come back and she would wax gibbous and become larger. She would become positively fecund, not verdant, because that would be green, and nobody wants a green moon. I mean, the blue moon is hard enough, but a green moon is, no, we're not going there. Except, I guess if the moon was made of cheese, it could be green cheese. Although, again, we're not going to go there. So, would I rather be the sun or the moon? Well, the moon cannot shine without the sun because the moon reflects the sun's light. But without the moon, we wouldn't see any reference to the sun at night. We would be without. We would be completely in the dark. And so I believe that both are required. And to get the perfect yin and yang, to get the perfect balance, we need both the sun and the moon and the stars to light them at night. Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Graham. What a story about the balance. Is what I get out of it. We need both, and of course, can't live without them. And we go into the next question. So one sec, a bit of technical difficulties. Here we go. I think I'm ready. Right, please have a look at this picture and tell me what is missing on this picture. And this question goes to our guest, Patricia Clarkson. Patricia, please tell me, what is missing on this picture?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. As I look at that picture, I see a woman that is full of excitement and having a lot of fun making faces into the camera. What is she missing? If you're going to make a crazy face and have a lot of fun with the camera, you need to flip up your hair and have it all over the place. Maybe have a bird nest in there. You need to have maybe a little bit of something in your teeth to just bring out the picture. Because she is so fair-skinned, I would have probably put a darker background there to pull up that face. Pull the camera down maybe to give her that upward look, or even a camera upward. Either way, it's going to give her a little bit of a crazy pop to her look. Pull those glasses off, put on some fun, crazy sunglasses that make people wonder, who is this crazy woman? Is she a Karen maybe? Maybe not. Maybe she just ran into a Karen and now she's totally frazzled. Who knows? But I would give her those little things to give her that extra little character that she needs to make this picture even more powerful. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Whoa, I didn't realize there's so many things missing on this picture. Well done. Thank you very much, Patricia. I probably should have written down quite some of those improvements. And we go into the next, and I think the final table topic speaker for tonight. So please get all excited and get ready. Let's have a look at this gentleman picture. Please look attentively. And please show your empathy to this young man. Marian Grady, please express your empathy to this young man.
Ouch! I've been sitting in the sun for way too long. But as an Irish person, I have that white skin. I've been where you've been, buddy. Now, all I can say is get that aloe vera out and get out of the sun. And next time, don't forget to use your sunblock. I prefer to use number 70 on my face. And the thing is now, all along, I've been white as paper my life. But as I've gotten older, I take medication that makes me very sensitive to the sun. So even when I'm not like trying, I get very dark as the summer wears on. So hopefully I won't look like this guy because Ouch! I really, really feel his pain. I had blisters one time. I get it, but you have to think before you go out in the sun, guys. Make sure you take good care of yourself. Make sure you take good care of that skin because you can ruin it by having a day like that. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Oh, thank you very much, Marianne. A poor fella. He's got all the empathy from our club president. It was so nice to hear. I would say with all these table topics, I hope you enjoy them. I hope you discover something new about yourself and, most importantly, about the Ray May Day. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Andre, for those insightful, fun questions. I did appreciate them. Now we are going to move into the evaluation segment where we provide constructive feedback and recognize what our speakers did well. Please welcome our general evaluator, Carrie Kong, who will lead us through evaluations and call on evaluators and supporting role players. Carrie Kong, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Today, I'm going to be the general evaluator of the day, and I'm so excited about it. The purpose of the general evaluation is to conduct an evaluation of our whole meeting. So we have all types of different roles for the meeting today. And I would like to call them one-on-one so that they can express more of their opinions about how they evaluate the meeting as a whole. And first of all, this meeting wouldn't be going well without having heard of the actual and nice opinions, but constructive feedback from all of our evaluators. First, we would like to welcome Dr. Johnny to evaluate the speech given by Kirthikka. Dr. John, please.
Thank you for that introduction, Madam General Evaluator. I guess the D in DTM is doctor. Critical. I liked your pace and your tone. I also liked your use of pauses to highlight certain things. When there was a question, you used a pause with a little bit of a high pitch so that we knew that it was a question. When there were parts that you wanted to emphasize, you had a pause there. Now, as someone who speaks really fast, you got the suggestion to slow down, and I can clearly see the marked difference in your communication style because I could hear and understand what you were saying so much more. You had a lot of information, a lot, copious amounts of food for thought. We could have a picnic in anticipation of the vernal environment that you created with your words for us today. With a lot of information, though, comes information overload, and let me explain. Because you had such diverse and varying topics, it leads that not everything stuck. What can I suggest that you do to improve that? Try doing slides. If you did a slide, it would give us references to follow as you changed. As somebody, I always say, I speak in cursive, I speak in join up, so things go left, right. I also listen that way. But sometimes it makes it hard to follow the path of what you're saying. Now, I know that it connects because my overthinking brain got, oh, this story, oh, that's where she got to that story. But for the neurotypical brain, for brains that don't function in a connective way, the male ones, let me explain that sometimes it helps to put each individual point on a separate slide so that we're better able to connect. What else would I ask you to do as well? Well, it was supposed to be on your leadership style. And I came out knowing your communication style, but not your leadership style. Personally, I'm affiliative. I didn't start out affiliative, but I'm affiliative now. It helps to explain the various leadership styles so somebody else can say, oh, well, I'm Democratic, I always vote. What's the difference between Democratic and affiliative? That's how you can tie in the different information so that they connect. I learned the hard way that not because it connects in my head means that it connects in everybody else's head, even though it's really, really obvious, right? Can't you see it? It's right there. So make the connections on your tangents for me so that way I don't, because even with a brain like mine, where my brain runs off to connect might not be in your best interest and help you to enhance the message of your speech. I'm going to also ask that you reframe for me. See, you can see my hands moving. I could not see your gestures. I only saw this. And while it helps with your pace and your tone, it didn't help to connect us because I didn't see any body language, which we can have here. Overall, enjoyed your speech and look forward to you making the connections in your tangents for me. Back to you, our general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Johnny. And I have been called by Johnny for several times. I need to show my gestures, my hands, and my shoulders. So I'm going to keep improving from my end as well. So next, let's welcome Jim Barber, Jim, to evaluate the speech by Christine. Jim, please.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Christine, it is always a joy to hear you speak, and tonight was no exception. This was a masterful presentation. It was an emotional presentation, and you didn't just connect with your audience, you reached out and you grabbed us. You drew us to you, and that was so powerful. Your verbal skills, as they always are top-notch. I especially like your use of the pause. You know how to use the pause. You know when to use the pause for drama, for dramatic emphasis, for giving people an opportunity to understand what you've been saying, simply to give them a break in the presentation. All top-notch. But I'm most impressed with your vocabulary. And I'm not the grammarian, but it bears worth mentioning. You do not rely on big, powerful, wonderful words when they're not necessary. And I like that so much. One phrase that really got me it was simply 6 words, 6 small words. My gut said something was wrong. Everybody had to be affected by that phrase. My gut said something was wrong. No big words, but it was powerful. It was very, very good. I have a couple of suggestions for you. Minor, but something to think about. First of all, you closed with thank you so much. That's very polite of you. That's very nice of you, but it's a waste of your closing. Your closing remarks are the things that people remember most about your presentation. You had some great closings there, but you didn't put them at the end. I'm blurring out there for some reason. You didn't put them at the end. You ended with thank you so much. That was just a waste. Don't do that. The other thing is, I am not a fan of pointless PowerPoint. I don't like people using slides when there's no good reason. However, in this case, I think you could have benefited from including 2 pictures. A picture of your infant son towards the beginning of your speech, and towards the end of your speech, another picture as he is today. Your speech was about us understanding him and understanding you, bonding with the 2 of you, but all we had to go on for him was your description. And it would have been awful nice to have had a picture so that we could have bonded a little bit more, so that we could have connected with him a little bit more. But that's a minor thing. Again, this was a powerful presentation, and I really look forward to your next one, either here or on the TED stage. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Jim, for your wonderful evaluation. I'm not sure if you can recall, this is actually maybe your second time or even more of evaluating Christine, and I would like to see the son of Christine's pictures as well in the future if we have chance. Next, let's welcome Dr. Sunny, this is the right doctor this time, Dr. Sunny to evaluate a speech given by Joe. Dr. Sunny, please.
There was nothing really fishy about Joe's speech and the way he started it off, the essence of fishing. Joe, you did a fantastic job of reeling us in, pun intended, right from the start. What you did well, one of your strongest aspects of your speech was the ability to engage the audience from the beginning. Your opening question, how many of us have ever fished? That's a great attention getter. It made us reflect very briefly on our own experiences and feel connected to your message. Your use of language was another highlight. You invited us to imagine, and you used descriptive, colorful words, painted vivid pictures and images of what it's like to fish. We could see it, feel it, almost smell the water, but not quite. You also incorporated gestures, Joe, especially when you mimicked the action of reeling a fish. That brought your story to life for sure. So what can you do to take your speech to the next level? In addition to your already strong imagery, you should consider adding a visual aid, perhaps photos of your fishing day or a prop like that fishing pole and maybe that bobber you were talking about. It would help support your description when you talked about finally landing that big fish. Or you could have simply said that big fish. A well-placed visual or gesture can make a powerful impact and help the audience to see what you see. Also, when you asked another question by a show of hands, how many of us relax during fishing? I would suggest you consider what Craig Valentine does. He says, speak to all, but talk to one. So you could have said, raise your hand if you've ever relaxed. That way you add warmth and connection. Lastly, you ended your speech with meaningful metaphors. You used fishing as a way to reflect on living life. That really was a beautiful message. One suggestion, at the beginning, you could give us a brief preview of the key points that you're going to talk about. When you got into the metaphors, I really wasn't sure where you were going. But if you said, today I will talk about the essence of fishing, ways to catch the big one, and maybe some metaphors for life, it might have helped us follow you on your fishing journey just a little bit more clearer from start to finish. In summary, Joe, your speech was engaging. It was descriptive. It was thought-provoking. I might even go fishing because this is a vernal activity to enjoy, especially during this season. With the addition of a visual and a clearer structure, your message will shine even brighter. So thank you for taking us on a journey that is a lot of fun during this time. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunny, for giving such a vernal and refreshing evaluation of Joe. And I'm looking forward to see Joe's fishing picture as well, because that's the first thing I've been thinking of. Next, it's important to also keep this meeting on time. I'm going to facilitate this a little bit more because we have 6 minutes left. So please, let's welcome timer Asil to give a quick timer report. Asil.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I've been posting times in the chat, but I will read to you. Prepared speeches. Kirthikka, 7 minutes and 16 seconds. Christine, 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Joe, 6 minutes and 55. Table topics. David, 1 minute and 14. Dr. Ann, 1 minute and 48. Ram, 1 minute and 45. Patricia, 1 minute and 27. Marianne, 1 minute and 20. Evaluations. Johnny, 3 minutes 29. Jim, 2 minutes and 56. Dr. Sunny, 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
May I interrupt for just a second to say, embarrassing though it is, my technology is failing me tonight. So please send me your votes for all 3 best speaker, best table topics, and best evaluator. Please send them to the private chat, and we'll get the vote counting tool working for next week.
Thank you so much, David. Everyone, please send your votes to David personally, and I'm sure that we'll fix it next time so that we can upgrade this technology. Next, I'm going to give like grammarian, Dr. Andy Byrne, for his comments about our vernal speeches and evaluations today. Dr. Andy.
Thank you very much. The word of the day was vernal. Many people used it. In particular, we had myself, we had Joni, we had Carrie, and we had one other one that had used it. So Asil, I believe. So we had several people using the word. Jim pointed out a great phraseology that was picked up during his evaluation, and that was good to be aware of. Sunny had a good series of words when she's talking about Joe's engagement of his speech. Lastly, I think that everyone did a good job, and extra kudos to Christine, having just gone through 2 different district meetings and seeing all their people delivering the speeches for the district competition. This speech that you gave today was emotionally powerful, well done, and with a little polish, could have easily made it to the World Championship of Public Speaking. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andy, and definitely thank you for choosing the word of today. Maybe you choose it, or maybe other person like Verno is definitely a powerful word. I would like to ask the following speakers and evaluators to keep your evaluations a little bit shorter, like 30 seconds. Next, let's welcome like our counter. Our counter is...
That's me.
Oh,
Thank you,
okay.
Karen.
Graham, yeah, please.
We had 1 R from Marianne, 3 from Andy, 2 now from Graham. I just heard myself doing it again. Joe had a couple of arms. Asil had an which your 3rd word, in fact, Asil. Jim, I don't often get to say Jim, but Jim did a 4-4 because he was trying to think of another word. Notice one person who's not here. David, not a single or R tonight. And for the former Wizard of R's, well done. Everybody else, you got nothing.
Thank you so much, Graham. Next, just welcome chat monitor, Allison, to give your monitor of the chat.
Yes, ma'am, Madam General Evaluator. So the chat was very lively tonight, especially with all 3 speakers. There's a lot of chat, a lot of praise for our speakers tonight. Loved seeing the conversations back and forth. And one thing I would like to just mention in closing, that I love how during our meeting, Dr. Andrew Byrne puts images to help us think and grow as individuals and professionals in the chat every meeting. Dr. Andrew, please don't ever stop doing that. That is awesome. Every time you do, I click download, because I want to save those and go look at them. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Allison. Last but not least, let's welcome Marianne to give your watchers report.
Well, I'm just going to focus on one thing tonight. A lot of us are using the online presenter's background, but a lot of us are blocking the words. If you use a background that has words in it, you should not be blocking the words. Just pay attention, everybody. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Marianne, for giving us such a short and concise report. A really short report from my side. Toastmaster today, Sherry, you're doing a fantastic job and keeping this on time. And see, now we're at 9, so we're making it. And Dr. Sunny helped us to welcome the beginning of speech, like everyone gives a topic, and it was definitely a very vernal, refreshing beginning. And last but not least, I really loved the table topics. It was mind-blowing, but at the same time very challenging, where normal people are thinking of like, what are you making us enjoy the holiday? Like Andrew challenged us by how do you destroy the holidays? Maybe you have some ideas behind. But I definitely love it. And I love all the people who are giving the speeches. And this is such a lively meeting. Thank you, everyone. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Carrie. So as we close this May Ray Day meeting, thank you for the energy, warmth, and encouragement everyone brought tonight. May we continue to shine both in Toastmasters and beyond. I now return the meeting to our president. Marianne.
We do have some winners. We
Oh, the
can we,
vote. Yes, the vote.
best speaker of the day. It was a real battle, but Joe, okay, the best speaker of the day today. Sunny Fridge was the best evaluator. And in table topics, I hate doing the vote counting through the chat. That's one reason why I make this app work. But lots of people got one vote. And so I'm going to declare that you all won table topics tonight.
Okay, well then I guess I'll pick it up from here. Now, everybody, I just want to remind you that we have a few things that are up and coming, and some of them you might not be aware of. On June 3rd, Jim Barber is giving us a workshop on how to give a killer soundbite. So this was given at his district conference and had very, very good reviews. So I hope that you'll join us on the 3rd. On June 23rd, we are going to have something totally different. Joni came up with a great idea, and we're having a tip-a-thon. So I believe we're going to have 8 tips of the day instead of speeches. So please take time, fill in, and sign up for a tip because we need a few more. And the last thing is our officer installation. We're doing that on June 30th, where the new board is going to be sworn in and installed by none other than the world champion of public speaking, Luisa Montalvo, who has agreed to come back and visit us again and install our wonderful officers for the coming year. So with that, I'm going to close the meeting, but I do want to check in with our guests, but we'll stop the recording right there. Now,